Hey everybody, it's Mr. Marshall at Stony Lane. I have a great book for you. And this is a book that we're going to read and we're going to think about how the character grows and changes throughout the story. Ready? Okay, so this is a story that one of the teachers at our school shared with me, and I love it. It's Mrs. Warner's book. So thanks, Mrs. Warner. This is called The Girl Who Never Made Mistakes. It's written by Mark Pett and Gary Rubenstein. I hope you enjoy it. So right away, we know that it's going to be about a girl who I guess never makes mistakes. So let's learn about her. It says, here we go. For Beatrice Bottomwell, Friday began like any other day. So her name is Beatrice. We're learning that about her, right? She matched her socks, and of course, she put her shoes on their proper feet. She remembered to feed her hamster Humbert his favorite food, broccoli. And when she made a sandwich for her brother Carl's lunch, she used exactly the same amount of peanut butter as jelly. Sounds like she's pretty perfect, right? Sounds like she knows what she wants to do and she does it. When she stepped outside to greet her fans, she didn't forget to say good morning and thank you. They asked if she made her bed. She had. They asked if she forgot to do her math homework. Nope. What about tonight's talent show? They asked. I'm ready, said Beatrice with a smile. After all, her juggling act had won 3 years in a row. Hmm. So it sounds like Beatrice is the kind of person that never makes a mistake, and everybody knows it. That sounds like a great life, doesn't it? Hmm. Hmm. Let's keep going. Most people in town didn't even know Beatrice's name. They just called her the girl who never made mistakes. Because for as long as anyone could remember, she never did. Hmm. Does that sound real? Unlike Beatrice, Carl, remember that's her little brother, made lots of mistakes. He ate his crayons and drew with his green beans. He danced with his hands and played the piano with his feet. Carl loved to make mistakes. So it sounds like they're really different, right? It sounds like they're really different. At school, Beatrice was on a cooking team with her two best friends, Millie and Sarah. To make their giant rhubarb muffins, they needed 4 eggs. So Beatrice went to the refrigerator and carefully chose the biggest, eggiest eggs she could find. But on the way back, did you hear that? The next page started with the word but. So you know something important is going to happen. Ready for the important thing? Sounds like we're going to have a problem now because we're in the middle of the book. And that's where problems sometimes start. But on her way back, her legs slipped out from under her. The eggs went flying. Did you hear that? She made a mistake. Sounds like she has a problem now. But she didn't. Okay, good. That was close, thought Beatrice. Sorry, Beatrice, I dropped a piece of rhubarb. For the rest of the school day, Beatrice could not stop thinking about her almost mistake. So, wait a minute. Let's stop for a minute and think about this. Let's look at her. She seems like a pretty happy person. She never ever makes mistakes. Look at that. Now look at her face after her mistake. Do you see that? Her face has changed. She didn't even really make a mistake, but look at her face. It's bothering her, isn't it? She's really worried, isn't she? For the rest of the school day, Beatrice could not stop thinking about her almost mistake. Poor Beatrice, right? Poor Beatrice. On her way home from school, Beatrice watched Millie and Sarah ice skating in the park. Come join us, said Millie. It's fun, said Sarah. Beatrice watched them slip and slide on the frozen pond. Millie and Sarah laughed as they wobbled on the ice. But I'm thinking here, Beatrice isn't into wobbling because that's almost falling and that would be making a mistake, right? She's not into that. At supper, Beatrice barely touched her food. Is everything all right, kiddo? Asked her father. I'm worried I'll mess up tonight, said Beatrice, and everyone will be watching. Worry? You don't make mistakes, he said with a smile. Beatrice tried to smile too. Look at her face. Where is she? Look at her face. This is really bothering her. Look at Carl's face. Carl makes mistakes all the time. He's happy as he can be, right? Huh. It's making me think that this being perfect, that's like a problem for her because now she's worried about not being perfect, right? Do you see that? After supper, Beatrice got ready for the talent show. First, she woke Humbert up from his nap. Next, she got the salt shaker from the kitchen table. Finally, she filled a balloon with water. The school auditorium was packed. Beatrice felt her stomach jumping around inside her. Poor Beatrice, she's so worried. She's so worried. Beatrice waited for her juggling music to begin. That's her, the girl who never makes mistakes, said a woman. Oh, we know she'll be perfect, said a man. And when the music started, she tossed Humbert into the air. Next, she added the salt shaker. And finally, the water balloon. And she was juggling them. You think she's gonna make a mistake? Let's see. Beatrice didn't miss a beat. The crowd clapped with delight. Beatrice noticed something odd about the salt shaker. The specks falling out of it were not white. Oh no, it wasn't salt. It must have been something else, right? You think you know what it is? I think I know what it is. It was pepper. Achoo! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Something important just happened. She made a mistake. Let's see how she feels. Let's see what she learns. Humbert was so surprised by the sneeze that he grabbed the water balloon with his claws. Kablooey! And then Humbert, pieces of water balloon, and the pepper rained down on top of Beatrice. And for the first time in as long as anyone could remember, Beatrice had made a mistake, and it was a big one. So now what we have to do, readers, is we have to pay attention to how she reacts, because that's going to tell us a lot about how she's growing and changing. Ready? Here we go. The music stopped. Beatrice didn't know what to do. Cry? Run off the stage? Look at that face. What do you think she's going to do? Tell the person next to you. Okay, ready? Here we go. Let's see. The crowd sat stunned. They couldn't believe that the girl who never makes mistakes made a mistake. Beatrice looked up at Humbert because he was up on top of her head. He looked back at her. His hamster fur was soaked and speckled with bits of balloon. Beatrice let out a giggle. The giggle grew into a chuckle, and the chuckle became a laugh. The people in the crowd looked at each other and then back at Beatrice, and they began to giggle, and then chuckle, and then finally roar with laughter. Beatrice and the audience laughed until they couldn't remember why they were laughing. You see that? She laughed at herself. She laughed at herself. Sounds like she's changed, right? Because She almost made a mistake with the eggs earlier in the book, right? And like that really scared her, right? Remember this part? Let me show you so you remember. She almost had the accident with the eggs, and then she was really worried. Remember that face? Now she made a huge mistake and she was laughing. She laughed at herself, and everyone around her laughed too. They weren't laughing to be mean, they were laughing with her, right? Because they saw that she was laughing, and so that's okay. That night, Beatrice slept better than she ever had. In the morning, no fans greeted Beatrice. When she got dressed, Beatrice, for no reason at all, put on a polka dot sock on one foot and a plaid sock on the other. It sounds like she wasn't into being perfect anymore, right? It sounds like she's learned that being perfect isn't that perfect, right? Beatrice and Carl made sandwiches. This time, they put the peanut butter and jelly on the outside and they called it an inside out PB&J. Lunch was messy and delicious. Later, Beatrice found Millie and Sarah skating in the park. They fell a lot and they laughed. That didn't scare her anymore either. It sounds like this big mistake taught her something important. Now, people no longer call her the girl who never makes mistakes. They just call her Beatrice. And that's the end. Wasn't that a great book? So, I want you to think about that. How come Beatrice changed? What made her change? It sounds like this middle part of the book, where she made this big mistake, kind of made her feel like, you know what? It's okay to make mistakes. It's not the end of the world. And if you can laugh at yourself, then that's okay, right? Remember that? And then she laughed at herself. So it sounds like this book teaches us that, right? And we just thought about how Beatrice changed and why she changed. And it's probably a good thing that she changed, right? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that book, and I'll see you next time.